Hello there, it is Core here.
And this is Riz.
And you're listening to a podcast, if you didn't know that. You probably have at least managed to figure that out by now. The title of this podcast, if you didn't realize that when you read the title, when you clicked on the video, is Sonar. For reasons that, I don't know, I don't really care about.
Yeah, has to do with sound though, that's pretty cool.
Has to do with sound, bats do it, that's a thing.
Bats do, but I mean, what relation do we have to bats?
Exactly that. And as well as that, bats can't see. And sometimes when you're a voice actor, you feel like you're flying blind.
Voice actors communicate via sonar.
That is true. And everyone, please welcome our special celebrity guest star, my brother. He's not a real celebrity.
What? Already, we're barely starting this, and you're already lying to people.
We're barely starting our podcast, and we're already lying to people. That's probably accurate. So the point of this podcast, overall as a whole, is just to talk about voice acting things, because I feel like there's not a lot of cohesiveness in our community as voice actors, and also I feel like for people who are just starting into the community, it's kind of intimidating. Like that's what the whole flying blind metaphor thing that was stupid that I thought up in the shower one morning is.
That wasn't on the spot.
No, it wasn't on the spot. I put thought into it. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit, but yeah, I feel like if there was some source where people could at least ask people who are in the community questions, that would be a cool thing to have. And plus, I was bored and thought this would be a fun thing to do with my good voice acting friend Riz here.
And so here we are.
The actual topic of this video that is actually the topic is bad reasons why you should not start voice acting immediately, or possibly not immediately. It's not really a question of time.
Not immediately, like right this moment. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah, why not right now? Just
2 in the morning?
Do it.
That is a bad reason.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
That'll never die out, will it?
That will never die out as long
not.
as I am alive. That will never die out.
So as we're beginning, I think that the first thing that we should get out of the way is actually a perfectly valid excuse why not to voice act. Is that fair? Get that out of the way right at the beginning?
That's probably fair. What is this reason that you are alluding to, Riz?
The reason that I have in mind, which I think that you will agree with, is you might just not want to voice act.
That's an excellent reason to not do something.
Perfectly valid reason.
I just don't want to do it. That's a great reason. Because honestly, especially on YouTube, it's a hobby. You're not 9 out of 10. No, that's a low number. Like 99 out of 100 times on YouTube, nobody's paying you any money to do this.
Oh yeah.
So if you don't want to do it, just don't.
Mm-hmm. But it's probably safe to say that those people who are watching this video have some kind of interest.
It's probably safe to say that at least subconsciously you really want to do this. Either that or you were just so in love with my voice or Riz's voice that you would do anything to just listen to us talk forever.
And if that's the case, thank you.
And if that's the case, just keep your distance, because I have a very good lawyer.
But he's great with hugs, so if you see him...
And a girlfriend. I like hugs. I do like hugs. If you see me and somehow figured out what I look like from the way I sound, then feel free to just run up and hug me and not explain why,
I'm
and
not
then
sure
run away.
That's quite how it works. But
Keep your hands away from my wallet, though.
permission has been given. Alright, so now that we got
Now
that
have
out of
permission
the
to
way-
hug me if you can find me in person. So now that one good reason is out of the way, Riz, what are some reasons you've heard as to why people won't voice act?
One
that are
reason
bad
I've
ones?
heard is just that they don't think that their voice is right for voice acting.
I actually had this in my notes already, so that's good. You're
really?
just
Well, good.
on top of things. That's great.
Yeah,
So,
because one of the counters that I have to that, because people say, my voice quality or whatever, it just isn't good for voice acting, and I think that a lot of that depends on what kind of voice acting you're going to go into. Because, whether you're talking about voice acting for an animation or a video game or for a commercial, they all call for many different kinds of vocal qualities or the like.
Well, that and having a pleasant voice is not at all what voice acting is about, or being able to make funny voices or whatever it is the kids are doing these days. Honestly, just about any voice is needed because there are lots of different characters, and not every character has to sound pleasant. I don't know. I personally enjoy my voice, but that's only because I've been voice acting for so long. It takes a while to get used to the way you sound and to just fully grasp the way you are and just embrace it.
That's definitely true, because the way we normally hear ourselves is not how we actually sound due to the resonance in our heads and whatnot. But after having a while, like you said, of actually being exposed to your voice, like through headphones and whatnot, it does get better over time. I like to think, at least, where you're at least more comfortable with how you do sound realistically, and you just kind of know what to expect a little bit better.
Exactly. So I think we've expended that topic.
Yeah, and now that I picked one of your topics, I'm sorry.
That's fine.
What's another one that you have? What's another reason you've heard?
All right, the absolute worst reason that I have come across that almost every person gives me is I don't have time to be a voice actor on the internet. Which is just ridiculous. I finally just decided, you know what? Instead of laughing at this, I'm just going to try and hear what they're coming from, what their perspective is. So the last person who gave me this reason, she's actually an acting friend of mine. She does a lot of stage acting, and so I thought she'd enjoy this, just because it's hard for kids our age to get the acting fix, as I like to call it, just because it's addictive, and we just like, I gotta act or something, and that's actually what got me into it. Voice acting, that is. But so I was like, okay, honestly, how much time do you think voice acting actually takes? Like, how much time do you think you actually have to commit to be a voice actor on the internet? And she was like, well, I don't really know, like, a lot. And I was like, no, it does not take that much time. Like, even I actually then went into this long analogy of how much time it takes, but then when I showed that same analogy to Riz, he just felt bad because he takes a lot more time to voice act than I do.
Though what I didn't realize was you were telling me, like, the ideals.
Yeah, no, but essentially, my comeback to this is that no matter how long you take to voice act, with how long it takes for animators to actually make something, it'll be a good 6 months to a year before you actually have to spend another session recording lines. So even if you take a literal 24 hours to record your lines for a 15-minute video, in the next, I mean, it almost doesn't compare. There's not, it's such a small ratio to the amount of time it'll take for that animation to happen. And so no matter how much time you spend making auditions and recording your lines, it's always going to add up to the fact that it's only going to take a couple hours, like a month, to actually voice act. It does not take a lot of commitment.
Yeah, I think one thing to look at when you're thinking about how long it actually can take, from your life in order to voice act on the internet, is just that it really all depends on you, I mean, because you could try to take on like 20 projects at a time, and then sure, you might be a little overloaded. Granted, the animation time does take a while, so after you complete lines, you're usually off the hook for a good while. But, you could just take on one project, and then, it's like, you really don't have to spend a lot of times, at least in the ideal situation where you don't have to, do takes and takes over and over again. Kind of depends on just, the effort that you want to put into it and what you expect to get out of it.
Yeah, exactly. If you're willing to just take on one or a few projects, you really won't be spending a lot of time. However, if you're super into voice acting like me, you might try and take on, like, I don't know, I've got like 8 auditions out, and I'm in like 4 things. So yeah, I'm really shooting for like around 12.
I'm still waiting for all these results.
And
we might not get in anything, or we might get in all of them.
We might get on all of them. That's definitely possible, and probably not gonna happen.
It would definitely change the amount of time we would take to have to do it. But really, I think that realistically, if people did want to voice act on the internet, yeah, they totally could. So I would agree that is a pretty bad reason.
Yeah, if time is the only thing keeping you from being a voice actor on the internet, then you really should just stop being silly, because that's what you're doing. You're just
slap
being
on the
silly.
hand.
Just bad. Go sit on your bed and think about what you've done. I was going somewhere weird. All right, now it's our celebrity guest over here, coughing louder than I am.
You're not coughing.
That's just my contribution to the show.
That's it. He's just the color guy here. He's just trying to liven things up with his lung cancer.
It makes it deeper.
It really speaks the human condition.
Oh yes.
To my throat condition.
His human throat condition. All right, so I guess now it's Riz's turn. What's a dumb excuse you've heard?
All right, this one I feel I agree that the last one was a lot worse. This one I see as more reasonable, but still pretty bad overall. If you actually want to get into voice acting and you have this as your excuse, it's not that great. It's that the equipment is too expensive, or just you don't have the equipment in general.
I have this one on my list as well.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Hey,
That
this
just means
goes
I'm
to
prepared
show
to...
that these are the things we hear all the time, right?
These are the things we hear all the time. We're just confirming it.
Perfect discussing it. But yeah, a lot of people think that you need like these really expensive microphones and all the boom stands and everything.
And USB audio interface, and you don't even know what that means, and what the heck is a DAW, or how do you even pronounce it? Is it DAW or DAW? Nobody actually even knows.
I don't even know what that is myself, and I'm still doing this, so hey, if that means anything to you, that's awesome.
You probably do know what it is. It's just a lot of jargon. It's just a lot of words that people use so that people who aren't in the community feel stupid. A DAW or DAW, I actually don't know which one is accepted. It stands for Digital Audio Workplace. It is. It's in layman's terms. It's what the program that you record your voice with is called.
So for me, Audacity.
Yeah, and you're using Audacity, and I'm using Audacity because we're both poor.
Which it's just a free program that works
Audacity's
just
a free
fine.
program. Don't even have to know what a DAW is, and you can already afford one. Look at that.
So, based upon the quality of your microphone core, how much was it?
My microphone was $70, but that's because I bought it at Hastings, and they charge extra for everything there. I actually looked it up. This same microphone is, I think it's like $60 on Amazon or something.
And what would that
Brand
be
new.
called?
This is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100, and I would absolutely recommend it to beginners because of two things. One, it sounds fantastic. You can hear me just fine. It's pretty good. Two, it is both a USB microphone and an XLR microphone. And for those people who don't understand what that is, which I assume is most people, a USB microphone, well, is the kind you can just plug into your computer and use right away. XLR is the type of input you need to use, like an actual sound system, an actual sound setup. This is what a recordio would, a studio would record with. And so that's the good thing about this mic is not only does it have good quality, but if you buy this mic and then eventually decide, okay, I want an actual workstation, I want to get a USB audio interface so I can have a real microphone set up, then you don't even have to buy a second microphone or an XLR cable. You can just buy the interface and you've already got a microphone that can plug right in and get going. I'll actually put a link in the description to the Amazon page for this thing because I would really suggest it. And honestly, I mean, $60. It sounds like a lot, but mow like 3 people's lawns for $20 each, and you got $60. If you really, really want to get into voice acting, you just gotta work.
Exactly. It's one of those things where it is a bit of a downside to have to get the equipment at the very beginning, but it really isn't that hard to work your way up to getting it, and once you have it, and you're good to go.
And honestly, if you're afraid of not being able to make auditions, having a good microphone like this one, it really gives you a leg up because half the people auditioning out there don't really know anything about microphones and don't even have a good microphone. They're probably just recording with their headset or with their phone, and it's it's awful, but sometimes it's all they got. But this will definitely help you in the long run, and you'll just be happier because you'll sound so buttery smooth.
And in case anyone's curious, I myself am using a Blue Yeti microphone, which I got at the time for I think $110, but I've seen it at around $82 on Amazon or eBay.
And you'll notice his microphone doesn't sound much better than mine.
Honestly, I'd say that's definitely true. When you get into the higher price ranges, not that ours are even higher necessarily, but I've done a lot of like back-to-back listenings to things, and I didn't notice a big difference.
Yeah, honestly, the price difference it's like a jump. It's like buy a dollar,
It's like exponential, yeah.
buy like a $10 microphone and like a $20 microphone, and there's not going to be a huge difference. But then buy a $60 microphone, and you're like, wow, what just happened? This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. So within this range, a lot of it is the same, and you could, easily get away, I'd say, with your microphone, as opposed to paying another, like, $30.
Yeah, no, I would honestly suggest this one because it's cheaper than the Blue Yeti. You can also sound like a hipster saying, I don't have a Blue Yeti, because literally almost every other voice actor and their mom has a Blue Yeti or a Blue Snowball, and they're like, this is my Snowball, this is what I use, and it's like, everybody has this, and it's not even, like, the best thing. Like, you can get this cheaper microphone that I have that also has an XLR input and sounds just about the same, like, and I would almost argue better than yours.
I'm not gonna get into a mic fight here. That's
not gonna
another
get
time.
into, let's not get into.
Would be your
Is it
turn,
my turn now? Okay.
What do you have to say?
What else did I have? I don't know where to find auditions, or I don't know how to get into projects. This is
Easy
a big one.
peasy.
Which, if you just think for like 12 seconds, it's not hard to find a good answer to this. One of the ways is auditioning sites. There's lots of sites devoted to auditions. However, I wouldn't suggest doing it this way because, well, I just don't. I haven't had a lot of success.
But really quick, do you
They're
have
really
a couple
quick.
sites
They're
you can
really
list
easy.
off?
Behindthevoiceactors.com.
Mm-hmm.
Just Google Behind the Voice Actors, and there's like an auditions part. It's not hard to find, and it's pretty simple to use. Once you have the other downside about that one is you have to like wait like a day for them to verify that you're a real person.
Right.
For your account, but it's not that hard.
And I know there's also Casting Call Club, which I hear a lot of hate about, but it's another place if you're looking for auditions. It's another place you could go. And Voice Acting Alliance, which is pretty much just like a big forum. But, people will post their projects, and you email in your auditions, and they'll get back to you, or they won't, because, a lot of projects fail. But those are other websites that you can use if you're still having trouble finding auditions.
But honestly, the easiest and my personal favorite way to get auditions is just through YouTube. And I'll show you a simple way to find them. Just click a new tab and go to YouTube. Do it right now. This is podcast. You're not going to miss anything visual. This is you can still hear me in another tab. So go to another tab with YouTube, and the search bar, the thing where you find all the cat videos by typing in cat videos. Go there. Just type in casting call auditions, or like voice actor casting call auditions. Just all the words you can, because the more words, the more things will come up generally. And you just you press the search button or press enter. It's nice and simple. If I can, you click on filters, and then over in the middle of the screen there will be sort by. Click upload date. Now you have a chronological list of all of the most recently posted voice auditions. In fact, the one I'm looking at right now, posted just 6 hours ago, not that long ago. They're still looking for people. Most of these are open for a couple months. I've had times when I clicked on and there was one that had been uploaded within the hour. And so this is the easiest way to find auditions. This is the way most YouTube animators look for things, because they don't really know that there's casting call websites. Most of them, I don't think. And plus, this is just an easy way to gather a lot of people. So yeah, that's all I gotta say there.
No, I mean, that covers it. Covered the websites and YouTube.
Covered the websites, covered
we got
YouTube.
the filter.
But that's all we have for unless I don't know. I guess unless Riz has something. You got any other stupid reasons not to voice act?
I'm sure some exist, but we seem to have pretty much the same list in mind. So
yeah, we didn't even really share lists. We were just like, let's just go talk to each other for like half an hour and then record it and put it on the internet or something.
Absolutely, that was our plan.
That was our plan all along, and look at how it turned out. Well, thank you guys for listening. Go ahead and if you have any questions about voice acting or like comments on really anything, or specifically, what do you think of voice acting? If you are a voice actor, what are your comments on our reasons we gave and how they're silly, or how maybe they're valid, or any other reasons you've heard of? Or if you're not a voice actor and you feel like some of these reasons are valid, you can go ahead and defend them if you feel like, or you can explain how you are now enlightened and will go buy yourself an ATR 2100. Not even sponsored. They're not paying me to say this. I just legitimately love this microphone. It is a very good microphone. Also, disclaimer, this is not the only microphone I've ever had. I've used other ones, and so I'm not just like, oh, this is the only microphone I've ever used and it's great. I have some experience with other microphones, so I'm sort of valid.
And as I'm actually a bit of a sound guy personally, and just with some work I've done, and it really is a great microphone, especially with the dualness with the USB or the XLR.
Yeah, and see, you didn't even remember we had a celebrity guest star, and he's already being helpful. He's not even a voice actor, and he's got some helpful input. Thanks, Jacob. Love you and your shiny head.
It's actually not that.
It's not very shiny right now. He hasn't shaved it in a day or so. I'm definitely rubbing it right now. And this is definitely going to be in the final cut. Anyways, you all have a nice week. We'll see you, I don't know, maybe well, we won't see you ever, because this is recording. But we'll probably have another episode up in a week, or possibly a month, or possibly never. If this even exists, I don't know. It could go either way. Have a nice day, and don't play in the street. You can say goodbye, Riz. Or you can just laugh.
Sorry.
You can just laugh at me.
Just play in the
Thanks.
street. That's great.
Don't play in the street. I said don't play in the street.
Sorry, don't.
Gosh, Riz.
Say no to everything.
Say no to everything. Don't play in the street. Have a nice week.
Bye.